one of the most important things I do every day is confront the opioid crisis in America. Unfortunately, it's the worst public health crisis of my lifetime, where millions of Americans suffer from the scourge of addiction, and much of it because of the addiction industry, pushing medication that people don't need, and then not providing access to services, education, and health care that people need to get better. And frankly, even though it is the most important work I do every day, it's work that I wish I didn't have to do because of the human toll and the cost. In my state alone, in the small state of Connecticut of about 3 million people, we lose about 1,000 people a year. We're on pace this year to exceed that number. And the cost every year is north of $10 billion to the state of Connecticut in economic damage. I'm on the national committee of the states. The 56 states and territories in the United States are joined together in what's known as a multi-state effort to investigate the addiction industry and to sue wrongdoers. That includes the manufacturers of opioids, distributors, potentially pharmacy chains, potentially healthcare providers, and treatment centers. And it's a multi-state investigation from all over the country, Democrats, Republicans, small states, big states, everyone in between, coming together to confront this crisis because every state has been touched, every state has been affected, and every state loses people every year. So I'm on the National Executive Committee of Attorneys General and the National Executive Committee of the states confronting this crisis in a variety of ways. One of the most important ways is that I've sued Purdue Pharma and members of the Sackler family who own Purdue Pharma. Purdue Pharma is not a public company. It's a privately held company by the Sacklers. Many of you may be familiar with the Sackler families because all over the world they've donated medical schools and endowments and to art museums. And a lot of that work was important. But unfortunately, they also made a great deal of money, billions and billions of dollars, from a drug known as OxyContin. And what we saw was that Purdue Pharma and members of the Sackler family fraudulently and deceitfully marketed OxyContin, which is an opioid. It's pain medication. It's very heavy-duty pain medication that people take. And there was an overabundance of OxyContin in this country and frankly, across the globe. And they didn't take the proper safeguards, and they pushed pills on people and doctors in a way just to make money. And they focused on and prioritized profits over people and over families. So the lawsuit against Purdue Pharma and the Sackler family is really focused on one part of the opioid and addiction industry. And in my view, you know, the folks at Purdue Pharma and the Sackler family, they started this fire. And they have an opportunity now to start to try to make this right, to work with the states, to try to help fund addiction science, treatment, and prevention. But so far, they haven't been very helpful. And it seems they just want to continue to pour gasoline on this fire and to continue to watch it burn. In closing, let me just say the reason why attorneys general are doing this work is because for a few decades now, attorneys general, each state has an attorney general. We figured out that we are very strong together. And even though we may come from different states, different sizes, north, south, east, west, different political parties, we have a lot in common in protecting consumers and protecting working people. And so we join together routinely in a variety of coalitions. The biggest one I'm sure you've all heard of was the Attorneys General action against the big tobacco companies, which happened almost 20 years ago. That's considered the biggest multi-state effort ever in our nation's history, and we continue to build on those coalitions and that success, and we're doing that now with opioids. So thank you all again for all of your tremendous work in your respective hometowns and fighting for working people. It's my honor to work alongside of all of you. Thank you.